Hello everyone, and welcome to Video Game Book Club, or whatever this feature ends up being called. But for now, that's what we're going with. And the first game, as a cat frantically runs in and out of the room, is Pyre. Now, having never been part of a book club, my assumption of them is that it's where some people get together and all read the same book, or at least the idea behind this, read up to a certain point and then discuss what they've read. So if we apply that same thing to video games, then I'm just going to play up to a point. And in this case, it's the first hour of Pyre. So I'm going to discuss what I think of the game so far, graphically, gameplay-wise, what it's doing narratively, and just kind of take it from there. We'll see how this flows together. It will essentially be a first impression series that will span the entire length of the game, or at least as far as I get. I intend to play all of Pyre because I will say within the first hour, I'm liking it a lot. But anyways, without further ado, let us begin the first episode of Video Game Book Club, or whatever the hell I'm going to call it. Pyre. Pyre is a very interesting cross between two genres. First, we have the visual novel portion of the game, which will take up, at least from my understanding, the vast majority of your time, which has thrown a lot of people off, but the people who like it really like it. I normally don't like reading in video games. I personally wish this was fully voice acted, but during conversations that you have with your companions, there are highlighted words that you can move your cursor over, which give you a definition of what that means within this world. The highlighted text is often people, places, or things, and if you highlight them, then it gives you a little bit more context into the stuff that you're actually reading. It's a pretty neat approach that I don't know any video game has ever done. Could be wrong, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. The other side of the game is this fantasy sport called The Rights. It's a 3-on-3 conflict that is almost a mashup of like football, soccer, and basketball all in one, and it actually works very, very well. One of my favorite things about it is this announcer that comes in that has this very theatrical style voice, and it's just phenomenal. And here, just take a listen.
Pyre, dare you tamper with forbidden knowledge? So soon after your sentence into exile. 'Tis true what the book says. You can be free again.
But anyways, on to the rules of the sport itself. So, like I said, it's a 3-on-3 game, and your goal is to get this ball, or the orb at the center of the field, into the other player's pyre. Think of the pyre as a goal or a basket. You can either run the ball in, throw it in, or jump into the pyre itself. If you run or jump into the opponent's goal, you get more points than you would if you were to throw it in. But it comes at a cost. In doing this, you sacrifice that player, taking them off the field until your opponent scores, or you score again with another player. It's a pretty cool thing, leading to 2-on-3 scenarios that put the winner at a disadvantage. It's a really neat way to balance the game. Each player has an aura, and their aura is bigger or smaller based on their, I believe it's strength attribute. And if a player comes into contact with that aura, they are knocked out for a certain amount of time. Each character has different styles about them on how they run, or their projectile attacks, or even how they jump. Rookie, the lovable mustache dog character, can sprint really fast and also perform a double jump depending on if you went down that specific skill tree. On the other end of the spectrum is Jodariel. She's very slow, and instead of a sprint has a dash move, but her aura is massive. She's a very good defensive character. I haven't gotten too far into the game yet. It's still introducing new concepts and mechanics. I just got the ability to equip talismans, which can give you boost during the rites, and also came across a shop in which you could buy and sell items. Narratively, this game seems pretty interesting. You are banished for some unknown reason into what is essentially purgatory. You wake up and these 3 travelers are hovering over you, talking about what they should do with you. They discover that your character is a reader, which is someone who, as you may have guessed, reads. Turns out to be a pretty rare thing in this world, and so they decide to have you along. And that's how you find out about the ancient ritual of the rites. That's essentially it so far narratively. It's just introducing a bunch of characters to me right now, and I think I've only played like 2 matches, which go by very, very quickly, but are a lot of fun. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say on the first hour of Pyre. It's a bit different than what I'm used to. I normally play like shooters and RPGs. I've been heavily into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds like everybody else in this world. But yeah, really, really liking Pyre. It's a completely different thing than I'm used to. It's pretty awesome. Thank you everyone for watching this episode of Video Game Book Club, or whatever the hell I'm going to call it. My name is Urkable Gamer, and I'll see you all later.